everyone, welcome to my book channel. I'm Zenlu and today I'm putting together my September TBR. So I have quite a few reading themes this month. The first one is World War II because 2025 is going to be the 80th anniversary to the end of World War II. I think this is a very fitting reading theme for this month. It is also back to school season, so I planned a couple of dark academia reads, and also since reading Small Gods by Terry Pratchett, I've become very interested in the Discworld, so I purchased a couple of more Discworld books that I want to enjoy in September, and also I will continue my reading of the 2025 Booker Prize long list nominees. Let's dive in. The first book on my list, I think, is one of the most fundamental works on the subject of World War II, and that is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. This book is a first-hand account on the experience in Nazi death camps. The author is a psychiatrist who survived 4 different death camps, including Auschwitz, while his parents, his brother, and his pregnant wife all perished in this unthinkable circumstance. I think this book is going to be very heavy and emotionally devastating, but there really is no better way to understand this experience than from the first-hand account of a psychiatrist. Next is a very well-known book on this subject. It is All the Light We Cannot See by Doerr. This book was published in 2014, it was the winner of the Pulitzer Prize, and I think it has received reviews, praise, and just all kinds of recommendations everywhere. I can't believe I haven't already read this book. This book looks at World War II from children's perspective, so there are 2 kids that are kind of on the opposite side. One of them lives in Paris, the other one is a German orphan. I'm curious to see how their lives intersect and how their perspectives can bring us more understanding of the war. The next one is a somewhat random find at a secondhand bookstore. I have actually never heard of this book before. It is People of the Book by Geraldine Brooks. This author is a Pulitzer Prize winner, and this book traces the history of the Sarajevo Haggadah, which is a very important Jewish text that was saved from the Nazis. This book follows an Australian rare book expert who analyzes and conserves this holy text, and it looks at its journey throughout history in the context of different points of history and different nations. Although it is not solely focused on World War II, I think its relevance to Jewish culture and history is highly relevant to this subject matter. On the theme of dark academia, I'm also going to start with one of the books that's considered fundamental to this genre, and that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This book takes place in an elite college, and it follows a group of students who kind of make interesting discoveries under the guidance of their professor, and it is supposed to be a psychological thriller. So I did read The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt earlier this year, and although I didn't really enjoy the story of that book, I thought the writing style of this author was really good, and I really did enjoy how her sentences flowed really nicely, and her writing in general is just very absorbing. So although I didn't really enjoy that story, just based on the writing ability of this author, I'm still looking forward to this one, and I think this is an important title to read and have in my repertoire. The next dark academia title I also think is a must-read. This is Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. This author is a Nobel Prize winner, and this story takes place in a very exclusive boarding school in the English countryside. So I've read Clara and the Sun by this author earlier in the year, and my impression of his style is that it's definitely quite slow-paced, and it has a distinct melancholic mood to it. But he also writes his characters with a great sense of empathy, so as a reader, you really come to feel attached to these characters and really feel for them. So I'm looking forward to something similar in this story, and I'm really looking forward to finding out what the story is since it's such a well-known title. Back in July, I read Small Gods by Terry Pratchett, and this was my first experience with the Discworld universe. So this is a group of 41 fantasy novels that take place in this fictional world that's shaped like a flat disc and carried on the back of a giant turtle. So it's very imaginative and very magical, and he tells his stories with this charm and humor that's just very addictive, and I would love to read more in this universe. So I have another Discworld book already in my collection, and that is The We Free Men. This one follows the character Tiffany Aking, who is a young girl armed with a frying pan. So she is a recurring character in the Discworld, and in this book, her little brother had been stolen by the Queen of Fairies, and Tiffany is going to rescue her brother with the help of the rowdy clan of fighting, stealing, tiny blue-skinned pixies known as the WWII Men. It sounds very exciting and very funny, and I can't wait to dive into this story. I also have 2 books from the 2025 Booker Prize longlist that I didn't get to in August, and I will be enjoying them in September. The first one is Endling by Reva. This story is set in Ukraine, and it features a scientist who is studying rare snails, and she is caring for a snail that is the last of his kind. So this snail is the endling of his species. And she funds her work by dating Western men who take romance tours in Ukraine in the hope of finding something of a docile bride. And she takes a hike through Ukraine with 2 other women who are searching for their mother who went missing while protesting these romance tours and the marriage industry in general. This story is full of love, loss, humor, and heartbreak, and this is definitely one of the most intriguing synopses I have read for a very long time, so I really can't wait to dive into this one. I also bought Flashlight by Susan Choi. This is the story of Louisa, whose father went missing when she was 10 years old after they took a walk on the beach, and his father was carrying a flashlight. So he was ethnic Korean, born and raised in Japan, and her mother was American. So this book is kind of full of complicated family relationships, immigration, and identity, and those related issues that are all very interesting to me. So personally, I think this will be a great read. This is one of the longer books on my TBR, but I think this is a good one to just sit down and dive into and take my time with it. And I also have the audiobook Holds on Libby that will become available in September. The first one is The Antidote by Karen Russell. This story is set during the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl, and it opens on Black Sunday, which is a historic dust storm. It takes place in a fictional town in Nebraska, and it looks like it also has some sort of witchcraft or supernatural element to it. So I read Swamplandia by Karen Russell and also Vampires in the Lemon Grove, which is her short story collection, and I found this author to be really, really good at writing kind of regional American culture and cultural identity. So the Swamplandia is set in Florida, and it features a family that makes a living out of gator wrestling. And it also has a gothic supernatural undertone to it. I really like this author's writing style, how she paces her story and how she blends the images and metaphors into her story. And I have been waiting to borrow this book since April, so I'm beyond excited to finally get into it. I will also be able to borrow This Is How You Lose the Time War, which is a title that I've heard about for a very long time. This is one of those viral recommendations across social media. This book won Best Novella at the Hugo, Nebula, and Locus. It's described as part epistolary romance and part science fiction. And it is about 2 time-traveling rivals who fall in love and must change the past to ensure their future. It all sounds very interesting, and I'm curious what the story is. So those are all the books that I will be reading in September. It is an ambitious list, but I know for a fact I will have more time to read in September. So July and August had been stressful and busy for me, and I can't wait to just sit down and really take some time and just dive into some books. And I'm definitely looking forward to everything that I'm going to read in September. I hope you've enjoyed this TBR video. Please let me know in the comments below what you thought of my selection and what you plan on reading in September. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.